Good morning. Hi, I'm Malcolm Nance. Welcome to day 50 of the U.S. Iran war on the Black Man Spy podcast. This is the special, I don't know what to call it. We have the Warcast. Is this like the Cease cast or the Peace cast or the BS cast? Because a lot of BS is flying. Um, Give me a moment to turn on our monitor. A lot of
Excuse
things are
my
being
language.
said and discussed right now that all of us are quite confused about whether there actually is something happening or not. And this is why you come to the Black Man Spy podcast, right? To try to make out, see that. There's the podcast, so it's official, to make out just exactly what is going on. And what we do is we give you intelligence analysis every morning from three professionals, as opposed to the anonymous people on the internet who, or even some of those OSINTers who are out there who are consistently wrong. We give you expertise from the U.S. Danish intelligence community and then cultural intelligence that you need from our other experts. So first, let me introduce Jacob Kaarsbo, Danish intelligence officer extraordinaire, Middle East warfare expert like me, has a lot of experience in the field, and the most popular political intelligence analyst in certainly Denmark and maybe even part of Scandinavia, right? So I don't know. I haven't seen any Swedish ones or Finnish ones pop up. So you're it.
Yeah.
You're it.
I don't know, man. I don't know. I'm here anyway.
You're there. Well, I'm surprised that you're here, that you're not
what
out.
else is doing or saying. It's all good, man.
Audios. Do I have some good audio here? There you go. Yeah, how you're not out giving some fancy speech or attending some fancy ball or having a private tea with the king, which if that ever happens, you better call my black ass straight over. Okay.
Yeah.
I'll hire
It's
an
pretty hard
executive
to get
jet,
hold of
'cause
our king.
I'm
But
having it with the king.
I'm a modest guy, so.
I know he's a figurehead, but he's a really strong figurehead. He seems like an extremely cool guy that having a tea with would be like a blast, right? We'd be starting out with oolong tea, and the next thing you know, it's brandies for everybody and schnapps left and right. And now that I know how Danish schnapps works, right? So
Yeah.
I'm an expert on that.
It's
So
violent
our
stuff, man.
other analyst is Wajeeh, the gay lion reporting in from Minneapolis, Minnesota. How you doing, Waj?
I'm still alive, still kicking. Appreciate being here, and there's a lot to cover today. There's every day I'm like, okay, the BS is over. No, it's not. The BS is nowhere close to
It
over.
gets worse. It gets worse.
Malcolm was trying to figure out what to call this. I'm like, this is the shit show. this is,
Well, it can. Don't worry, it'll get worse. It'll get worse before it gets better, as the old saying goes. And in this particular circumstance, I'm not quite sure what's going to happen first. Get worse or is it going to get better? That being said, first, a little light banter amongst the morning AM TV crew. What kind of coffee mugs are we sporting? Can you grab me that mug?
I've left my coffee mug. I'm up in my.
What kind of mugs we got here? Oh, I have some light. I have more light. People have complained that. Oh, wow, a summer house. That must be very, very nice.
It is. It is. And I forgot to bring my mug in here. I've just snuck into the bedroom because it's a little tiny cottage.
I don't care if it's a paper cup. Okay, that's all right. You're absolved of that. And
I'll go and get it. I'll go and get it, man.
Look at Wajeeh. He's like so proud of that Wonder Woman mug that he's sporting right now. He's so proud of it. He's waving it left and right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm a feminist, baby.
Yeah, well, I'm with you. I'm a feminist too. And, the question is, Okay, there you go. You've got a borrowed, you know, a
The
borrowed Airbnb coffee mug.
1970s. It's white and orange, and it's from the 70s. And yeah, it's an old summer house. So
Okay.
that's it.
Um, so Wajeeh, my question to you is, which Wonder Woman is the one that you like most? The one from the cartoon from the 70s and 80s? The one from the what was her name? The from the 1980s? One Linda Carter Wonder Woman or the modern Wonder Woman, right? Gal Gadot, which to be honest, that's my favorite one.
If I was honest, I wasn't
That's like a real one.
introduced to Wonder
What's yours?
Woman. I wasn't introduced to Wonder Woman until later on, so I didn't even see the cartoons from the 70s and 80s.
Lucky you. So, but it's all we had back then, man. It was just like my problem with Wonder Woman is she's in this red, white, and blue and gold costume as an Amazon. She flies in her invisible jet. The jet is invisible, yet she is completely seen like she's sitting in an imaginary seat in the air flying through. And it's like, wait a minute. The jet's invisible, but you're not. That's that's how the cartoons dealt with us and led us to our imaginations. On my part, I have a cup that fully supports what is going on in the Strait of Hormuz right now, which is our lovely shit happens mug. But when you drink it, mm, it says at the bottom, but coffee helps. Okay. So now we're fully equipped to start this program and to start our day. It's a dynamic one. I feel sorry for anybody who goes, "Oh, it's Saturday and peace is broken out and everything's
Uh-oh.
everything that you have been told about this war and ceasefire is false." And here's the worst part. I can't find
And being told
there's my
about
notebook.
freedom of
Uh
navigation.
I oh, fawn operations. Well, I spent hours this morning, hours, and we're back to like the war where I have 2 pages of notes, and this is supposed to be the piece. So you guys are going to have to really help a brother out here because I don't know. Okay, first, let's start with the basics. Wajeeh, has there been any change in the casualties? If there really hasn't, we don't.
No,
But
there
let's go
hasn't been
over the
much
casualty
change.
count from the war again, please.
There hasn't been much change, if I'm being honest.
That's the one positive.
Okay.
That's the one positive.
The one positive is that the war casualty count has not really changed. We're still at 2,000 some hundred persons in Iran, maybe as many as 3,000 because I think they were digging out people. Lebanon has frozen. We are in 10-day ceasefire, which I had a long talk on Mario Noafal's podcast yesterday, and he was just like, "Isn't this awesome?" And that guy's like the most optimistic guy in the world, you know? And I go, yeah, the Israelis are doing intelligence surveillance and reconnaissance. And back in the Lebanese Civil War, not the Lebanese Civil War, the Israeli push on Beirut, Tom Friedman, the famous New York Times journalist, wrote a very good book about Lebanon in 1982, 1983. And he
Mm.
said accurately, this was the Israelis. A sleeping Syrian soldier in the Bekaa Valley would lean over in his chair, his rifle would fall, and a single shot would accidentally discharge from it. And that would unleash a 12-hour Israeli artillery bombardment across all of Lebanon, right? Israel waits for things like this to break the ceasefire by saying, "Ooh, you got 2 guys at the shooting range trying to zero their weapons. That broke the ceasefire." And then suddenly 3,000 rounds of high artillery are flying. That's the way that business. Anybody who says they don't, then you just don't know the Israelis, right? So the casualty count is stable. Let's move on to the price of oil because this is going to be big, not just in this show, just in general. This is where my mug jumps in.
Appropriately so. Yeah.
Wajeeh, do you have the price of oil?
Yes, I do. Give me a second.
I got to get a shave, y'all. I look like the Caddyshack gopher.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, our WTI today is at
Let's
83.85.
fetch some oil while we can.
Holy cow! Hello,
Let's
money for
buy.
everyone.
Buy your barrel.
Hearing the bottom.
If you got a chance to buy a barrel of oil, buy it now.
No,
It is
too
Fill it on
late.
Monday.
Too late. Too late.
the
That is a $20 drop. Now, I have to admit, a few days ago, I said that WTI would hit 120. It did not. It hit 115, and that was its peak. Now it's crashing because peace, love, and happiness is breaking out. Brent North Sea crude is realistic at 90. Murfan is down to 91. Wow. However, I am still reading the Mr. Global. Dude, that's enough. If you watch Mr. Global on X, poor guy's pulling his hair out because he's like, that's not what the oil is selling for in the Persian Gulf. It is selling 122 to 150. At one point, it hit $200 a barrel for real physical oil that was actually there. So, one of the things that he said yesterday that I didn't brief, this wasn't Mr. Global, it was another one. Oh, yeah. The International Energy Association said markets are underestimating the impact of this. They are unrealistically overestimating how things are going, and it is going to bite them in the ass. They didn't say that. That's my interpretation. It is going to bite them in the ass in the next 2 months. The IEA also said oil will not return to normal for 2 years.
Yeah.
That's when the backflows will have been able to fulfill all those contracts. Things are bad. And anybody who's sitting out there going, no, halas, everything wonderful. You are going to, if they're trading on that and spending other people's money, yeesh, that could be interesting. Commentary, gentlemen.
But Malcolm,
OPEC
you're right.
market.
The
Well,
the
one at a time.
IEA should add some spice to their reports by saying it's biting their ass. That would be a little bit more colorful and have more readers that way.
Yes. To quote intelligence analyst Malcolm Nance, oil will bite you in the ass.
There are some reasons why the price have dropped. Trump a few days ago said he would not lift sanctions out of Russian oil. This morning or last night, the United States has lifted sanctions out of the Russian oil sales.
And we're going to talk about that shortly.
For another month, yeah.
That's the other thing is that the Saudi finance minister yesterday was talking to a large group of investors at a conference, and he was specifically discussing how uh, we are seeing a big difference between the actual price of the market and the price that is being seen on the media. The reality on the ground is that he's saying the price is 110, 120, 150, 160 dollars per barrel when it comes to on the spot selling oil at the moment. So this is the reality on the ground. That's why it's still very expensive for you. It looks cheap, but that's all market manipulation. Mike is yours.
Yeah. Jacob?
No, I'm just sitting here listening. It's all good. You go, Malcolm.
He looks frozen. Oh, you're there. Okay. All right. Listen, let's move on. We'll get back to the oil issue in a bit. There's a whole section on oil, especially with regards to Russian sanctions. So, significant activities. We've gone through, nobody has hats. We've gone through coffee mugs. We know the casualties, and now we know the price of oil because of all the wars. This one is really about oil. Significant announced that our analysis, as we gave it yesterday, and as I was giving it, as we ended the show, all of these people in the group started saying, Donald Trump announces Iran has opened the Strait of Hormuz. And we checked it in the last minutes of this show and found that the Iranians said, yes, the Strait of Hormuz is open. And let's be fair, I'm going to read the actual tweet that the foreign minister Al-Arachi said yesterday, which you need to know what's out there, what's actually being said, and what was not true. So, give me a moment. Well, I'll paraphrase it. Prime Minister or Foreign Minister Al-Arachi made a tweet where he said, yes, the Strait of Hormuz is completely open. And apparently everybody stopped reading mid-sentence because the rest of it said, as agreed upon in the previously issued Iranian Revolutionary Guard, or actually, he said the Iranian Ministry of Oil and Transport scheme as previously imposed. In other words, the Strait of Hormuz is open if you use the IRGC multipass exit way into the Strait of Hormuz, if you have paid up on your here we are. This is the traffic separation scheme. This is what is open. The Iranian exit route south of Larak, entrance route between Hormuz, Larak, Kishem, subject to inspection. That is what they said was open. And Donald Trump, in his absolute desperation yesterday, came out and said, the Strait of Hormuz, Iran has completely opened the Strait of Hormuz. We have opened the Strait of Hormuz
That's free navigation
for everybody.
for everybody.
For
I'm a
you, Wajeeh.
genius.
Wajeeh,
I'm a
open.
genius.
Jacob, call Maersk. Call your clients and tell them the Strait of Hormuz is completely 100%, I am not joking, open. Except that it's not. Needless to say, I went through an enormous amount of people coming out and saying that left and right, it's open, ships are flooding into the traffic separations scheme, the old one, and that they're getting out there and they're doing everything. But none of that was true. Not a fucking word of it was true. And now, only just this morning, after I've tweeted and retweeted, read the entire post, right? Read the entire post. People were like, no, everything is great. Too much fine. It's open. Donald Trump says it's open. So, this is almost as bad as the nuclear dust that Donald Trump supposedly has been given. But it's just absolutely bad. So the Iranians, in their infinite wisdom, decided they will troll Donald Trump, right? By broadcasting to every ship that's coming through the Strait of Hormuz this message. Listen to this.
Calling on channel 16.
Malcolm, you keep freezing.
Outside the treaty of some
Huh.
idiots. If you want to pass through their base, you must ask permission from Iranian settlement. All vessels that have a connection with our enemies will be targeted if they try to pass the Strait of Hormuz out.
I'll play it again. So I'll play it again. You can see if you can understand. You can hear it.
This is Iranian Stephanie calling on channel 6. The Strait of Hormuz is still closed. We will open it by the order of our leader, Imam Khomeini, not by the tweets of some idiot.
We will reopen it by order of our leader, Imam Khomeini, not by the tweets of some idiot. That was broadcast.
I didn't even
That
hear
was
that.
broadcast on international ship to ship to all of the ships that were making a run for the Strait of Hormuz yesterday. So, what did that look like? It turns out there was a real mad dash to get to the Strait of Hormuz, get through the Strait of Hormuz yesterday. But because these people aren't stupid, pardon me, let me turn the light off. You guys can see this. The ships that went there went and did it through the traffic separation scheme. Here we are, led by the ship that was waiting the other day, the Starry Rich. That one got turned back. But you see these large group of ships start moving out of the Dubai area. And look, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. They said there were over 60 ships on the move yesterday. But here's what it looks like, what it looked like as they were accelerated, as they were trying to make their way up. But they were not going here. They were going up through the multi-pass toll booth, right? So here's what it looks like. And then suddenly, all of them start getting turned around right here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 made it out. That was the count that Sal Marcagliano had. 8 ships made it out. Now, if you look down here, you're going to see a bunch of very small vessels are hugging the Omani coast, but they are not using the traditional Strait of Hormuz traffic separation scheme because that is still believed to have been mined. So you can go through the lower section down here, all right? And let's play it again. You can see those small vessels coming here. These two here, that ship is the only one that used the old traffic separation scheme. But it may have been a dhow or a small lighter. But none of the giant ships, the MSVs, these tankers, they're all going up there. Most are getting turned back. Why? Because they did not pay the multi-pass toll. Not only that, Iran is authorizing, today they reiterated, they are only authorizing 20 ships per day departure. This sound familiar to anybody? I mean, really, doesn't it sound familiar? Sorry, guys, I'm going to put my phone on Do Not Disturb. London Broadcasting was just calling me.
It sounds more or less like nothing has changed to what we've been talking about for a month and a half. Nothing has changed.
Nothing has changed. I'm going to go back through my notes. I have here every days of the last 50 days analysis, and I'm going to find the day they imposed the traffic separation scheme. And apparently, that's just now the way it's going to be. Donald Trump was so desperate, and I keep saying this in my television analysis, radio analysis, so I'm not holding out on any of you. Everything we're seeing here we can't see the paddling of the duck's feet below the water, right? But this duck is moving fast, and Trump is absolutely desperate to end this war. Because to be honest, based on what we're seeing now, I think he's got his sights set on Cuba for what he thinks is going to be a Venezuelan-style military operation so that he can finally get the videos of adoring crowds where he comes through on the Pope Mobile and everybody will love him. And he thought he was going to get that with Iran, not happening. So he needs the off ramp here very quick. So the IRGC said only the traffic separation scheme we outlined a month and a half ago is out there. And that mass breakout, which is what people were calling it, was turned back. And just to make our point, the Iranians did not play games when it came to larger vessels trying to get out of the SOH. Let me find this for you. Here we are. Boop. This is the UK Maritime Trade Organization warning that one of those larger vessels, not the small ones, the Iranians didn't care about dhows and the little Omani little putt-putt boats. One of the larger vessels tried the shallow route. 2 Iranian Revolutionary Guard Corps speedboats came up to it and attacked it
But all
yesterday.
those speedboats have been obliterated, Malcolm. Don't you get it?
We can officially call them ghost
They've
boats.
been obliterated.
We can call them ghost boats now because apparently they're Phoenix boats. They rise up from the bottom of the Indian Ocean. I've been telling you they had 33,000 small craft before the war started. The stuff that was in Bandar Abbas Port or Kishem Island,
Trump sunk the Navy. Trump sunk the Navy.
I'm almost out of coffee here. Coffee is not helping.
Out of coffee. He needs more coffee.
I need Potsmode's more coffee. Okay. But the IRGC carried out an armed action against one of those vessels yesterday. It was an Indian registered oil tanker. This is very risky, by the way. Down there near Musundam, it's very shallow. I have the charts. Hold on. Actually, I think we have an image of it in the traffic separation scheme. You can actually see the actual depth in feet.
How shallow it is. Yeah.
That area where you see the words inshore traffic zone. See that? Inshore traffic zone. I've been through that on a dhow. That's where you're allowed to go up from like over here in Ras Al Khaimah and then come up to Kaarsbo. And that's where all the small pleasure boats, people on their weekends take their high-speed what is it, UAE $1 million Maserati yachts. They can stay in the inshore traffic zone, but they can't keep going up out of here. And this gets very shallow. I'm trying to find a fathom, 81 feet over here. That's not fathoms. It might be fathoms. So anyway, this is shallow. So an Indian ship came up and tried to do that. IRGC saw them, came down, intercepted them, and opened fire on the ship. Oh, actually, it wasn't one. It was 2. The one that was reported was 1. Okay. So, somebody says we're freezing here. Well, so I'm only as good as my Wi-Fi. So
your Wi-Fi
anyway,
does suck a little bit today, but
yes,
you look sharp, Malcolm.
Okay, my Wi-Fi sucks. Wajeeh, your Wi-Fi sucks. All of our Wi-Fi sucks. And at the end of the show, I'll tell you about my battle with T-Mobile in international data. So anyway, that vessel tried to come through. It got shot at and hit. It was warning shots off of machine guns. Another vessel, it turns out, came through, tried to run with it. The IRGC shot at it, hit it, and both vessels were turned back. And the UK MTO only got 1 warning on that. So, all right. Oh, I got a big, new, fresh, hot cup of shit happens. Okay.
Someone is asking, "What's a Dow?" That's it's just while you were drinking your cup.
Well, let me show you what a Dow is.
Yeah,
the Dow is
Go ahead. You can define it. I'll show you a
Yeah,
picture.
it's these local transport ships that are in their thousands on every given day in the Gulf.
Thousands.
Thousands. And they traverse the Gulf from Iran back and forth and between the Arab countries of the Gulf. They're all over the place.
Yeah, most people think Iranian mine layers look like this, right? High-speed boats chock full of mines, right? No. The traditional Iranian mine layer has been a dhow. And this is a picture of a dhow in the Persian Gulf. You see these traditional wood vessels. This one's Omani, but this is very common. And they get big, Actually, to tell you the truth, I've read that the design of the dhow, even though it's been very traditional, I'll get you a photo of a bigger one. Um, the design of a dhow is a small version of what the Chinese fleet that was commanded by Sinbad was like. And sometimes these ships could get so big they could carry 500 men. And I have a better one, my traditional mine layer photo in here.
Originally, they were used for fishing.
Yeah, they
For-
still are used for fishing. They still are used for fishing. But they are wood. Some of them can get big. They also rent them for party boats. But going back and forth, there's a lot of trade between Dubai, Creek, Sharjah, Ras Al Khaimah, Al Quwain, all of these Gulf Northern Emirates, and Iran. And they move them via these. Here's a better example of the large version of the dhow. Over here, wood, multi-level. You can see this is fishing tackle here. These are fishing booms up there. They can also move material going between Dubai and Bandar Abbas. Hundreds of these per day. Hundreds. If you go to Dubai Creek, which is the waterway in downtown Dubai, you'll see them stacked down there, right? Left and right near the gold suit, right? Hundreds of them. So
And they've also been used as pirate motherships by the Somali pirates.
By the Somali pirates.
Yeah.
Yeah, and this is also the traditional Iranian mine layer. This is what they lay mines with, not that little boat that I showed you before with 4 mines. They can put like 8, 10 mines down in here, have a little ramp underneath it and push it out. And the vessels run by the Iranian Revolutionary Guard Corps, and nobody knows the difference. So that is what a DHOW is. That's a dhow. Persian Gulf, actually Middle Eastern vessel. Right. That being said, let's go back. Now we have finished with the significant activities. Let's talk about Donald Trump yesterday. 7 lies in 1 hour. And the first one started as we ended the show. And then more lies started just piling up left and right, where Donald Trump first came out and said, the Strait of Hormuz is open. Halas, no problem. It is definitely not open because, as you can see, I'll put this. This is some ships. This is a freeze frame of the ships trying to get through the traffic separation scheme. The green lines are the old traffic separation scheme, not getting. Nobody got through. 8 vessels were authorized to transit by the IRGC. Here are the lies Trump said yesterday. Number 1, the Gulf Strait of Hormuz is open. Iran said it. We forced them with our blockade. Yeah, that didn't happen. Number 2, the war is over, y'all. I don't know if any of you noticed, but Donald Trump said yesterday, the war, she is over. And we won. It was a stunning victory by the United States over Iran. Okay. Number 3, apparently Iran has decided to surrender all of their nuclear dust to us. We discussed that yesterday, that he can't seem to tell the difference between radioactive uranium metal pellets, right, which is what makes up the 60% enriched uranium and yellow cake dust, which is not really enriched, which is very low grade radioactivity that is made from uranium ore into yellow cake. Then it is turned into processed into pellets and then irradiated. Okay, he did that. That Iran's that came from, listen, I know that's true because that came from Barack Ravid. And Barack Ravid is the secret mouthpiece of Trump in the Trump White House. And apparently Trump just calls him up at random and tells him stupid shit. And Ravid, who's at Axios, just jumps right out and just does it.
He just
Okay.
he just copies he's being told.
He's a stenographer.
Yeah, Malcolm, just repeat that last point because you froze completely.
Did I? What God? I can't understand why my Wi-Fi is sucking. Maybe I should turn this Wi-Fi off on my other systems. Okay. The frozen funds, Donald Trump said that, or Donald Trump administration leaked to Axios that they would be willing to give Iran $20 billion in exchange for their uranium, right? And that would essentially be unfrozen Gulf state funds, which is pretty amazing to me because if I'm not mistaken, that this is the administration and people that said Obama gave Iran $400 million in cash on pallets. And they're talking about 20 billion in cash on pallets.
They
Absolutely
were
amazing.
upset when Biden did the deal with the Qataris, and Qataris said, "We'll free some of the money, and we'll make sure America chooses what exactly Iran spends that money on." And yet, Trump came out and said, "Oh, Trump doesn't even have control what Iran's going to spend that money on, but Biden had control what Iran was going to spend that money on."
And just to underline, I think you're frozen again, Malcolm, but I'll just explain one thing. In the old JCPOA, the nuclear agreement, there was no payment. There was only the fact that Iran got sanctions relief.
Right.
And that's what the many Republicans and especially Trump has been beating Obama for. Now Trump is trying to pay $20 billion to get himself out of a hole that he has dug for himself by pulling out of the nuclear deal.
Insane.
So it's fucking insane. Sorry.
Yeah. That's okay. Now I see where I'm freezing. I'm going to try to work on this. My laptop is much faster. So the Wi-Fi here is compared to when I'm in New York. Yikes. I don't know what my problem is there. Okay, another thing that was floated, which may have been a lie, was that Iran was ready to recognize Israel.
Hold on. The whole reason Iran was like, hell no, we ain't gonna keep going on with the peace talks and Pakistan, Islamabad, was because Netanyahu raised the phone and called JD Vance and the rest of the group and was like, hey, by the way, while you're talking to the Iranians, make sure that they have to uh, admit and recognize the state of Israel. So Iranians were like, what the fuck are you talking about? That's our like, goodbye.
I can't control the stupid. And somebody wrote earlier, there's not enough coffee in the world to handle. Oh, there's another one. You'd need a tanker full of coffee to handle this timeline. Nah, I need to go back to double espresso shots. Maybe 10 or 20 of them might help. Okay, and finally, Iran is begging for a deal. They've called us and they're begging us, give us a deal, Donald. Give Give us a deal. We want to do a deal with you. What
If they're that desperate, why the fuck would you pay $20 billion and all the other shit? It's oh.
The Speaker of the House, Galabov, said yesterday 7 lies in 1 hour, and he had them like lie, 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 lie. Next, Trump yesterday, of course, said this famous quote: "I made it calling me, begging me to help, but I said you should have helped us 2 months ago." 10 minutes later, the government of Spain released a message saying, "We have received no such call." 10 minutes for NATO countries to start releasing statements that Trump, I can't believe it. Is this really happening? Trump told a lie? Guys, make it true.
Trump, Malcolm, you broke up badly there, but I think
Oh.
everyone that's listening to us realized how stupid it was when you were explaining what the Spanish government did, and yeah.
Go on with that. I'm going to try to clear up my Wi-Fi here real quick. Go on.
Yeah. The obviously, as Malcolm was just reading out, the Spanish wouldn't stand for all these crazy lies about NATO begging Trump and saying they would help Trump, etc., etc. The Europeans, of course, can't help sort out this mess that Trump has created for himself. And just from a Danish standpoint, I'm Danish. Obviously, we can't send our navy down to the Gulf as long as Trump, the idiot, wants to take over Greenland, for heaven's sakes. So
Right. Motherfuckers threatening Europe with his own military and threatening Europe about pulling the military from European bases. And Europe is like, please do. Please do.
Okay.
Yeah.
But in other news, we'll just, if we're going to sit here and talk about Trump making stupid statements that about NATO, we'll be here for the next year.
Yeah.
So,
Let's
but
move
more
on.
importantly, here's Trump on the press gaggle saying he's ready to go back to war in 3 days.
Excuse me. But in any event, we'll get it done.
You don't have a deal by Wednesday when the ceasefire ends. Will you extend the ceasefire or will you start attacks again?
Maybe I won't extend it. But the blockade is going to remain. But maybe I won't extend it. Thank you very much, everybody.
We'll have a blockade. That's extended, but maybe we'll have to start dropping bombs again. So maybe we'll just start dropping bombs again.
Yeah. It's the 5-dimensional chess player right
He's
there.
everywhere.
The genius.
And
the genius. The genius.
Yeah, I'm getting a lot of advice on moving my Wi-Fi. I could broadcast from another room next to the Wi-Fi. We'll see about that. But right now, the logic here defies everything, right? Next, J.D. Vance says the United States, he had a conference at Talking Points USA, and he said the United States wants to rebuild Iran, and we're willing to go into economic partnership with Iran to rebuild and make them a great economy if they just turn the nuclear material over to us. Y'all, I'm sorry to say it. That statement is actually more desperate than anything that I've heard thus far. What do you think? Wajeeh?
If he was in the camel silk, he would have been stolen a long time ago.
They wouldn't even have given him donkeys with the word camel painted on the side. They would have handed him. They would have gone to the gift shop at Dubai Airport, and those little stuffed camels, right, that are about this big that you can buy as souvenirs that says Dubai on the side. He would have received a box about this big, and they would have said, "Here's your 100 camels," right? Then it's like, well, you didn't say they had to be real or alive, and we gave you a nice memory. I mean, this is
But
amazing.
but remember, this is Trump's master negotiator that he's sending he sends to do deals with the Iranians in Islamabad. I think the Iranians are pretty happy about that,
Oh, yeah. Well,
Mr. Dumbass.
hold on. Keep your shirt on. There's more. Um, Besides the fact, I want to talk about two things. One, the USS Gerald Ford is passed down into the Red Sea again for us to start preparing to take on the Houthis if it gets to that. Or it may give the USS Abraham Lincoln a spell because they've been on station for almost 60 days. And I don't know where they would go for port visit, Mumbai? But we would have to see. Um, yeah, Wajid.
I want to ask you a question because I talked about it in my own Q&A, but a lot of people have questions about the fatigue that soldiers already have on the U.S. carriers that have been deployed for more than 200 days, and how being deployed more than 200 days at sea is already too much. Would you take a minute to talk about that, please?
Yeah, what we generally do is we schedule in port visits and we let everybody have 2 or 3 days to go drink and eat and have nice meals and blow the steam off, then you come back. The problem with a combat deployment like this, Pete Hegseth, who loves guns and bombs and dudes, he
Pulp Fiction.
in Pulp Fiction, yes. He
Oh no, my remark made
imposing
your
this
internet break.
you need to be strong and stay on station. Okay. It says you need to be tough and strong and stay on station. This hurts the official. That's a long ass time. And I don't care if you say, "Yeah, we're doing the mission. We're having a grand old time." They are not getting the amount of food that they need. They're not getting what we call revictualed, right? They're not, because the distances that has to come. It would usually come from the Persian Gulf, not coming from the Persian Gulf. It has to come now from India or Malaysia, Indonesia, someplace that has large quantities of food that they can sell to chandlers, right? That meets US Navy standards. Or we fly it into Djibouti and then put it on a ship. It's terrible. So it's going to hurt. It hurts efficiency. And what you'll see is more accidents, more bathrooms catching fire, right? Guys really not giving a flip about it. So we'll see. But 60 days is a long and let them have 2 or 3 days off. But no, this is Pete Hegseth. This is not World War II. Even in World War II, they pulled into Australia quite regularly, right? In between battles. These guys, they're looking tough. Okay,
A lot of parents are worried because they're receiving photos from their kids on these ships showing them that they're not getting enough food, where they're getting a little piece of carrot on the tray, or
yeah, yeah,
like one
I
taco.
I don't think that that's full rations. I think that that's guys who are like, I ain't gonna eat that shit. This is all I find edible. They're funny, sailors suck sometimes. They can be jokey. Okay, besides the fact that Scott Bessent has lifted sanctions on Russian oil, as we said earlier, again, someone 20 minutes before Trump made his Strait of Hormuz announcement, 20 minutes, where oil was at $98 a barrel and spot oil was still at 150, someone sold 7,990 lots of Brent North Sea crude, right? Not barrels, lots. A lot could have been 100 barrels per lot, right? Like 700,000 barrels. 20 minutes before Trump made his announcement on the helicopter. And they made, are you ready for this? $760 million. 20 minutes later, oil fell $10 a barrel. Someone's making a lot of insider trading, and this has to be investigated. That's almost $1 billion on the oil that they had. I'm wondering if it's Barron Trump. Because remember, he started this war with $30 million of oil futures. So, and whoever has been doing it, that's the 12th consecutive trade that they have not missed. It is an insider. It's somebody in the family or in the White House who knows what Trump is about to say. And that would probably be the family. Like, Barron, go buy, sell your oil, sell it now. Next, as if, and then we'll go to questions, as if none of this was enough. And this is where I need to go get a coffee, one of those Walmart giant jug coffee mugs. Donald Trump announced he himself may attend the negotiations in Islamabad to sign the deal. And if I were the Iranians, I would be like, yes, come. We are ready to sign the deal, Donald. Come, Donald Trump. We will be honored. I would let his fat ass waddle into the room. And the Iranians, as soon as they see him, we would stand up and say, no deal with them, and walk out of the talks, leaving him embarrassed in Islamabad.
When the Islamabad negotiations happened, remember when I asked you who do you think the Iranians would rather negotiate more than JD Vance? And you said who? And I said Trump.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
Exactly.
who wouldn't want to negotiate with Trump? I mean, he's a sucker. He's so absolutely desperate. He's desperate. He must have this off-ramp. And the beautiful thing is he's trying to build the off-ramp, a big, beautiful off-ramp. And no one will help him. No one will help him with this off-ramp. And the Iranians appear to be having a good time with this story. Okay, guys, let's go to questions, and I can try to improve my Wi-Fi by tomorrow. I may move venues into another room where we have Wi-Fi.
Yeah,
Susan,
shoot away, people.
Susan says, will Israel give significant notice to the Lebanese people before it starts bombing? Not usually. As people are returning to their homes, is this part of the international rules? People are returning to their home south of the Litani because of the ceasefire. And I was watching Al Jazeera this morning. I'm sorry. I got to show y'all this. All right. This is Al Jazeera right now. Hormuz closed again. Because all yesterday they had Strait of Hormuz open. It took them 24 hours to have to recognize they got played by Donald Trump. So anyway, people are returning to their homes. The Israelis, unfortunately, have a strategy of where they are always primed and ready to shoot. And as soon as they think that somebody attacks them, a rocket gets fired, boom, like 100,000 Israeli soldiers will start attacking again. Unfortunately, it's the way they do war. Nancy Lewis commented on the food shortages on the Abraham Lincoln's care packages. Care packages cannot get through to them either. This is correct because the mail in wartime becomes an extremely low priority. They will only pick up priority mail that will be flown to Djibouti. And then in Djibouti, that stuff will stack up. They'll take the letter mail because letter mail is critical out there. And they will fly that in with critical aviation parts, and that is expensive. If it's on a ship like a fleet oiler, it could be weeks before they have an intermediate vessel pick it up, and the mail gets transferred to them, and then it gets cross-decked. So no, food is not going to get there. Food packages are not going to get there. Malcolm, did you hear that Hexas trying to get the Ford and General Motors to restart building missiles? We talked about that yesterday. Yes, we did. Alan Stewart says, if the war starts again, what next? I'm living and working in Sohar, Oman. Hey, that's a nice place. Afraid of what Israel might bomb the Bushehr nuclear power plant, which means I need to evacuate. Wajeeh, you can come up with me on this. You are not going to have any trouble in Sohar, Oman. You're not. That's the one country that's not going to really get bombed. They hit those 2 fuel tanks to demonstrate their power. But Oman, everyone coming from Dubai is going to want to be taking your slot on an airplane. Don't leave. Stay in Oman. Enjoy the dates.
The nice thing about Oman is that there is no U.S. military bases on there. There is a very small U.S. presence, and they have been a good ally for Iran for a very long time. That's why they were very confused when they were attacked in Oman. And even after the negotiations failed that they have tried to do, they have continued, and after they were hit by Iran, they have continued to call for an end to the war rather than decapitating the abilities of the Iranian regime, just like the Saudi government or the UAE government is demanding.
Yep. Okay. Yeah.
That's why you will be safer.
Yeah, you'll be safe.
Yeah,
Also,
I
Sohar's
fully
nice.
agree.
Okay. We're all in agreement. Yeah, Sohar's nice. I've driven through there, right? I've driven the whole Omani coast. And when I bought one of my Land Rovers from Muscat, no one's going to hit you there, right? Don't worry about evacuating. Laugh at all the people who may have to evacuate Dubai, right? Big city if this thing goes up. And in fact, you are sort of one of those places where a lot of people will move to. And that's your only issue. I mean, it's on the road to Muscat. Sohar, there's a road that crosses the mountain north of Sohar that comes from Ras Al Khaimah, and that connects, and you go straight down the coastal road to Muscat. Nothing's happening to you. Enjoy the beach.
While you're
Uh,
there, go buy some frankincense. There's some of the best world frankincense there, and it's good for your neck.
oh, not as good as Yemen, baby. Sorry.
Not let stuff smell like
Yemen's
stuff.
where that stuff comes from. Yemen, frankincense, and myrrh. That's where you're gonna get it from. Okay. Kyle Reese says, where are the U.S. Navy ships? They are somewhere out in the Indian Ocean. We're not going to talk about their actual location. What is Mrs. Lindsey Graham saying now that his persuasion blew up in American space? He's
Very
still a
unlucky for me.
hardcore guy.
He's a very hardcore guy, but the very unlucky thing for me, he's my fraternity brother.
Oh my God! You were in a
Oh dear.
sorority?
Yeah,
Maybe he was like the ladies' booster club of your fraternity.
oh my God, we all make fun of him, though. We all make fun of him.
Carl Reese asked, "What's the longest you have been underway consecutively?" That's an interesting question because I borrow ships. I'm not permanently assigned to them, but I did ride the USS America from Norfolk, Virginia, and then go through sustained attacks against Bosnia. So I'd say maybe 65 days, about there. It's pretty long. But we were having so much. I mean, we left from Norfolk. And we were in the Adriatic Sea, right? And so the food we were getting was just world class, right? I was in the chief's mess on an aircraft carrier, and they had lobster every week because we would purchase the lobster. Boats would, U.S. Navy ships would bring it over to us while we were in flight operations, and then it gets brought over side by side. So, and they would drop the food. You could have in the Adriatic Sea, all your food's coming from. It's coming from Italy. It's coming from Central Europe. I mean, you're getting great food. Indian Ocean, where every country hates you, it's going to suck. It's just going to suck. Okay, one more question. For Jacob, what do you think about the visit meeting with Finland's Prime Minister, with Prime Minister Carey in Canada this past week? This is really about Greenland and the North Atlantic Alliance.
I have to pass on that one because I haven't seen anything on it. You know, the Finns are a core part of the Nordic enhanced cooperation in NATO, and you know, with Canada also supporting clearly and also establishing their diplomatic bridgehead in Greenland, etc., etc. That is also a very important connection. But I haven't seen anything concrete. You may also know that the Canadians and the Carney government have switched away from F-35s and have signed contracts with the Swedes to start Gripen production and purchase and production in Canada. So, you know, there's more and more cooperation between the Nordic countries and Canada, and that's got to do with the Arctic presence also.
Okay. Hey, Alan Stewart, I didn't answer his question quite accurately. He lives in Sohar. He says he's afraid Israel might bomb the Bushehr nuclear power stations, which means I need to evacuate. Bro, if that happens, I will be having an emergency, all hands discussion. If it happens, if I tell you to leave, okay, it's time to leave. Worse, you have the Baraka nuclear power plant on the southern side of Abu Dhabi. So it's not like nuclear power plants aren't all around you. They are. Don't worry about them in bombing Bushehr. Right now, all you need to do is enjoy the beach down there. Go have kebabs and a Turkish coffee. For me, hilwa. And that means a sweet one. Super. I'm not supposed to be having 3 sugars in my coffee like they'd make that Turkish coffee. But enjoy your time in Sohar. I know it's getting a little warmer down there, but until June comes, you know, enjoy the sea breezes. Okay, guys, that's all the questions we had today. I want to thank you, Wajeeh, for coming. Please, I'm imploring you for Jacob and myself. Yes, this is a free podcast, but we really could use the paid subscribers. It's $7 a month. I heard in Canada it's 15, which is like $10 US. We're going to be revisiting these numbers. But please, if you want to support our work, support the continued broadcast of this, giving you this analysis, also, the ability to interact. You're allowed to ask questions, and you have the private chats like Waj is going to be doing one, or Jacob, one of you is going to be doing one question and answer here, continuing the question and answer period. Please do that. I really appreciate it. I do have 3 different categories. We are modifying the highest category, which is an annual one, which is we call it Circle of Spies. And that one is going to have face-to-face meetings. That one will have dinners with Malcolm. You can come up to upstate New York and get a hotel room and hang out and walk the dogs, you know. But more importantly, it becomes very private. And I actually have a lot of people that ask me for private briefings. So, you know, you can do that, but do it only if you really can afford it. And if you really would need this information and you want to be part of this community, because I'm reading the community comments. You guys are having a grand old time down there. That's great. And I'm glad that some of you even interact and help each other out with the understanding of this. So thank you very much. Lizzie Claiborne says, Trump speaking. I don't want to hear anything else for today. Okay. We don't have time for more crazy. All of us have lives. So I finally got physical therapy after my fall in Greenland, and I feel 100% better. And I have my second PT thing this afternoon. So be careful around ice. It was a 1-inch cube of ice that I slipped on a steep road. So, you know, be careful out there. Go have a good day. Do not doom scroll listen, if you want to talk to Wajeeh and read analysis with Jacob, go ahead, you guys. But don't worry about this. We will brief you all tomorrow on what's going on. All right? Wajeeh,
If
Jacob,
if if you're
bukra,
watching this on
inshallah.
YouTube, if you're watching this on YouTube, you're watching a recording. Please go
Yes.
to Welcome Lance's account and subscribe, like, and share. And if you want to participate with us live, that's where we're at on Substack. And if you are watching the recording, make sure to also subscribe. Thank you very much.
Okay.
And I'd just like to say, as you know, as many of you know, I'm on my way to Ukraine. So whether
I
I'll
forgot
be able
about
to
that.
log on for the next couple of days, we'll see. I'll let you know, Malcolm and Wajeeh. But I'll be a bit on off for the next few days. But I'll shoot some messages and try to log on at this hour.
I'm glad you mentioned that. Yeah, I'm going to hook you up with Phil Ittner, and you and I may do a Phil
Yeah,
Ittner show. And would you?
exactly.
And I need you to inventory my gear bag that's in his house. It's been his house for like 4 years. So, and the only time he sees me is when I show up in Ukraine. I go, "Hey man, where's my gear bag? My helmet, my armor?" You know, and
Yeah.
he's just like, "Yeah, I'm like your personal closet."
Thanks for reminding me, because I have Phil's contact already. So and I've been in dialogue with him, so I need to get hold
Okay.
of him to set
If
something
you
up
need
for this
if
week.
you need armor, you can take my body armor and my helmet in there, and I got top of the line, baby.
I'll stay out of direct fire.
You don't, bro. You don't get much of a choice on that. I
I
got
said
some news for you.
direct. Who knows about indirect? But
Shaheed time. Okay,
yeah,
take care, guys.
Oh no.
We'll talk to you all tomorrow. Inshallah, bukra. All right, bye bye.
See you tomorrow.